Hello and welcome to a brand new season of the Power Max Mini Challenge. The championship enters a new era with a new format in 2015 and we'll hear more about that in just a moment. But one thing's for sure, the opener here at Donington sets the scene for a fantastic season of racing. So, as I mentioned, not only are we back with a new season, but we're back with a new look. And here to tell us a little bit more about it is Anthony Williams. Anthony, good to see you again.
Hello, Michelle. Good to see you too.
Yeah. So, tell us then, there's a few things have changed. The big one has to be the addition of a new car, a new class.
No, absolutely, the new F56 third generation Mini. It's a great car, a great platform to make a race car and a great car on the road too. All the specification is as close as we can get it to a little mini touring car, and I think the general consensus seems to be that that's the case.
Because of the addition of the new car, obviously there's had to be a little bit of a shift with the grids this year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year we were pretty much maxing out on the grid size at 32 cars. So this year, in order to fit the new car in, we had to take the decision to split the Cooper class, the older cars, out into a separate grid and then put the two turbo classes, the F56 and the older R56 cars, together.
Now, last year we had the Best of British award. What's happening? Is it back? And if so, is it different?
Definitely back. We're still with the same Best of British partners. They're all great British motorsport brands that are helping us put the prize fund together. So this year the prize fund is up to 18,000, split between the three classes this year rather than just having one winner. Of course, I want to see great racing, lots of action, and really most of all that all of the drivers have great fun. That's what it's all about, and that's what the Mini brand is about.
We just heard from Anthony about the Best of British award, which is a key feature of the Power Max Mini Challenge. Well, last year's winner, Lawrence Davey, joins me now. Lawrence, it's great to see you back here again. You won. What was the benefit to you?
The benefit's been amazing, really. The support from the series sponsors enabled me to get onto the grid in the F56 this year. So it's sort of paid the entry, and we got used to the car for the year, which we're looking to buy during the year. So it's been an amazing achievement and something that's helped me out a lot this year.
So let's talk about this car then, because you had a chance to test it at Brands Hatch. What was it like? How did it go?
I've done days testing at Brands Hatch, and it's so different to the R56 last year. So there's a lot to learn, lots more adjustments on the shocks. Obviously, bigger engine, more power. So it's just different everything. So it's just learning how far you can push the car, how quickly you go in the car, and just constantly being in the car and learning all the time.
Well, the sun is shining for the first race of the day. It's the F56 with the JCW, F56 up front, JCWs at the back. Now, positioning is determined by fastest lap. So let's go over to Ben to find out what the grid looks like.
Thanks, Michelle. Well, it's a very different looking grid for this year with the introduction of the F56 to the Mini Challenge, but looks fantastic nonetheless. So it is Rob Smith who heads the field ahead of David Grady, then Lawrence Davey and Ryan Rode on row 2 from Charlie Butler Henderson and John O'Brown. Of the JCW class runners, it's Neil Newstead who leads the way from Urca Lindstead, then Hamish Brandon and Kevin O'Connor. Get ready for the start here. It's a glorious day in Donington Park, and away we go. It's a good start from David Grady, but slightly smoother off the line, I would suggest, from Rob Smith as they sprint towards Redgate Corner for the first time. And it is the white striped car of Smith that leads the way. Grady being challenged around the outside by Ryan Rode, to the inside by Lawrence Davey, as the JCW runners tiptoe through, headed by Neil Newstead. They're all more or less cleanly through. I think it's possibly Ryan Rode who took evasive action, as it is Smith who leads the way from Lawrence Davey, and the pair of them building up a big gap over Charlie Butler Henderson and David Grady. The next couple of cars in the train, it was indeed Ryan Rode. He has recovered some way down the order as they're all cleanly through the old hairpin and then climbing up through McLean's and Coffice before they accelerate along the back straight and into the S's. Good scrap for third place coming together already. 6 or 7 cars as part of that train as Ryan Rode looks to recover. Meanwhile, what about the JCW class runners? Hamish Brandon all over the tail of Neil Newstead as the leading duo trying to break clear over the rest of the field, and with good reason. There's some very quick drivers looking to close on their tail, and this is the point at which they decide, do we run as a train or do we race amongst ourselves? Harry Volkard just ahead of the next group of cars, then it's William Phillips just in behind. It's great to see drivers like William Phillips and John O'Brown, who have graduated up from the Cooper class into this fastest class of mini challenge racing, as a challenge from David Grady, who looks to the inside of Charlie Butler Henderson, kicks up the dust in the extra Redgate corner as they run downhill into the Craner curves, just dancing on limits of adhesion there. David Grady trying to make sure that Lawrence Davey out at the front of the field doesn't break clear. Let's have another look then at Grady's pass on Charlie Butler Henderson. Butler Henderson thought he covers the line. David Grady darted back across the right hand side of the circuit, and by the point at which Charlie Butler Henderson wished to turn into the corner, he found a David Grady shaped Mini in his path. So Smith leads, and David Grady already passed Lawrence Davey and closing up onto his tail. John O'Brown in the red car just ahead of Harry Volkard. That's Ryan Rhodes having a big moment, his second off-track excursion of the race. And we know the Mini has got a fine rallying heritage, but not necessarily in races at Donington Park. Here is Neil Newstead, our JCW class leader, but he has got Hamish Brandon and Kevin O'Connor right up onto his tail. It's Hamish Brandon in the red car, then O'Connor in the blue. Meanwhile, Rob Smith still clear of David Grady as Lawrence Davey defends from Charlie Butler Henderson. Butler Henderson on three wheels through Redgate, aided somewhat by the fact that Davey runs a little bit wide, and through Hollywood Charlie Butler Henderson gains the place and sneaks up into third position. Now can he close that gap down to the leading duo? Butler Henderson, lovely shot there as he looks well ahead through the old hairpin, but did just have to seesaw at the wheel a little bit, as unfortunately into the pit lane. That is Luke Reed who's in trouble. The mechanics, I think, are giving the universal signal for possibly head to Parc Fermé, race over. Meanwhile, that's Bence Ballock who is closing up onto the tail of the Hamish Brandon and Kevin O'Connor battle. And again, you don't really know where to direct your attention and your eyes, do you? As on the brakes, Brandon just squirmy a little bit, Kevin O'Connor a bit smoother, but doubtless that will all change as the race unfolds. They run downhill through the Craner curves once more, and Hamish Brandon really moving around in the JCW car, but it's effective, or it was effective. He runs wide, and now that's Kevin O'Connor's opportunity to go through. He's also loses out to Ballock as well. So Kevin O'Connor, having been on the offence for the last few laps, now immediately goes defensive as Charlie Butler Henderson challenges David Grady and slides through into the chicane. Good move that from Butler Henderson. Again, left it until quite late, but he seems to get that car really nicely hooked up through the slower corners. And as they have worked together, they've begun to reel in Rob Smith. And Rob Smith, not done and dusted. Here's another look at Hamish Brandon's moment. And yeah, just understeers out wide, kicks up the dust, keeps the right foot planted. He's lost a bit of time, but nothing more than that. And then the Butler Henderson pass. Perfect block pass, really, alongside, through, and even if David Grady could carry more momentum, there was nothing he could do. So here is our race leader, Rob Smith. They're in pursuit of Clayton Kingman to possibly put a lap onto him. There is John O'Brown, and he may elevate himself up ahead of Lawrence Davey again. Davey having a slightly wayward moment. They're about to lap Kingman, and that has allowed Charlie Butler Henderson to find a way through into the lead of the race. So Butler Henderson it is who leads, and David Grady looks to challenge as well around the outside of Rob Smith as they arrive into the chicane. We're getting quite late into proceedings as well, and now that Butler Henderson is through, he's already pulling clear, and Rob Smith just trailing his brake through the chicane, but that may give an opening to David Grady, and Grady has moved past Rob Smith as they head down the start and finish straight. John O'Brown also looking to try and take the advantage, and Harry Volkard, the bright yellow car, is not too far adrift either. You know, Hamish Brandon's recovery drive has brought him back onto terms with Kevin O'Connor, as heading through towards the checker flag is Charlie Butler-Henderson. It's been a really nicely judged race, this, by Butler-Henderson. He comes through and takes the checker flag with David Grady in second place, and Rob Smith completing the F56 podium with Neil Newstead, our dominant JCW class winner. And again, a really impressive performance from Newstead. He has moved well clear of Kevin O'Connor and Hamish Brandon. Well, there is O'Connor, who does, just on the run to the line, withstand the pressure from Hamish Brandon. Super scrap between the pair of them. So let's have a look then at the results. Charlie Butler-Henderson, the winner from David Grady and Rob Smith. Harry Volkard, a strong fourth, ahead of John O'Brown. Ryan Rode recovering up to sixth position. In the JCW class, it was Neil Newstead, victorious from Kevin O'Connor, Hamish Brandon, Alan Taylor and Steve Ruxton-Cocker. So celebration for Neil Newstead on to the top step of the JCW class rostrum. He gets the applause from the mechanics, as does Charlie Butler-Henderson, our F56 class winner and outright race winner. But before he can make merry with the bubbly, he's got the important job of overseeing the draw for the reverse grid for the final race of the weekend, and it is the top six finishing order from this race that will be reversed for the concluding action of the opening race weekend of the season.
So, Charlie, you fought your way through and you got on top of the podium.
Yeah, it was a tough race, to be honest with you. I got to third and then slipped to fourth, and then second, I think Smith in the lead had a bit of a problem. He had a bit of smoke coming out of his car, so it was either going to hold out or not. It was a 50-50, and then the back markers weren't the most helpful to the three of us, to be honest with you, but we got through them, and a great race, brilliant fun. Yeah, it's the longest last 8 minutes of the race I've had, it being in the lead. It was good.
And, I was having a tough battle there with Charlie and Rob, but I didn't manage to sort of make any sort of further progress, so second was the best I could do, so I'm really pleased with that.
I tried my best to use the back markers to block Charlie off and stop him getting through, but it just didn't work, so third's a good result considering.
Neil, consistently good last year, which served you very well in the end with your second place, and now you're back again and you're on the podium again.
Yeah, no, fantastic year last year. First year in the mini challenge, fantastic championship. We done well, as you said, second in the championship. Chose to stay with the R56 this year, 2-year programme. And today, I suppose, experienced another year on this track. Year behind me running the R56, felt very confident. Team set up the car absolutely spot on, couldn't ask for any better.
Hamish and myself had a titanic battle, and it was just really enjoyable, and no incidents, I'm glad to say. So.
Neil just got a little bit of a break, and then I could see Kevin. I managed to gap him but then made a mistake. It ran wide at the old hairpin, and that was him. He got past, and fortunately he thought a Gen 3 was a JCW, so he ended up battling with a Gen 3 car, and it allowed me to catch back up. And he and I were just pushing hard the whole race. So it was a good fun race, and no injuries to complain of. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Some spectacular racing, particularly from the leaders in the F56 Gen 3, and some good, clean battles going on in both classes. Join us after the break, where we'll be welcoming back the Coopers onto the tarmac.